Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is your host Commander Cheapskate and we are back with another episode of Shadows over Mordheim. This is our series of weekly Mordheim Battle Reports and this is Battle Report number 16. It is a skirmish scenario that was fought between my two friends Odeth as well as Brother Grimm. Odeth is bringing the Scions of Sylph, a cult of the possessed warband, and Brother Grimm is bringing the Peeple Eataz of the Mob Roolz. So this one's going to be kind of interesting actually because the Peeple Eataz are actually on a 2 wins, 2 loss victory for their current record right now. Same thing with the Cult of Possessed. They got 1 win as well as 3 losses. So these guys are kind of like in the middle of our campaign. So it'll be kind of interesting to see exactly how they hold up. At the same time, they'll be trying to capture and hold a building in the middle of our battlefield that we set up for our skirmish scenario. So we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we're going to show you photos of both of the warbands as well as the rosters. That way you can see exactly what they're bringing for this one. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Alright, so the scenario rules for this one is called Skirmish. Pretty much both members of the warbands play 8 inches within a table edge as well. At the same time, basically the objective is to capture and hold a building that's located in the middle of the battlefield. As you can see in the middle of this battlefield, there's a giant 3-storied watchtower. That is the building that both Odeth as well as Brother Grimm will be fighting to control. Pretty much the game ends when one enemy warband is routed. For the experience, you get 1 point of experience for every participant who survives the battle report, as well as 1 bonus experience point for the winning warband leader. At the same time, whenever a hero takes an enemy out of action, they also earn 1 point of experience for that as well. So with the scenario rules over, let's go and talk about the battle plan real quick. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, my friends are playing on a 4x4 table. Brother Grimm is deployed on the near side of the table, while my friend Odeth is deployed on the far side of the table. And as you can see, the objective is located right there in the middle of the table. That is that 3-story watchtower that they'll be fighting over. Now, as for their battle plan and what their overall strategy is, I really can't tell you. And the reason why is because I'm not playing in this scenario. I'm just the arbitrator at this point, so I'm just taking photos for the campaign. But it looks like my friends have pretty much divided their 2 warbands into halves. So they got like a little fire team on the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side. If I had to guess, these 2 warbands are very close combat oriented, so I'm just assuming they're going to try to charge as quick as they can to the middle of the building, occupy it, and just fight it out to see which one is the last one standing. Now, I will admit my friend Brother Grimm does have an edge on this one because he does have a larger warband because he's playing orcs and goblins, but at the same time though, my friend Odeth's warband has better skills and also higher stats, so it'll be kind of interesting to see exactly how that breaks out. So with the battle plan, let's go and talk about deployment real quick. Alright, so starting with the Mob Roolz. For the orcs and goblins over on the left-hand side, we have Ugla the Blade. He's a biggin with a sword, bow, shield, as well as a well-armed skill. Right next to him is Zappa the Snappa, another biggin hero. He's got a sword, bow, shield, as well as a well-armed skill. Right in front of them are 2 goblins with the yellow hoods. Those guys are called them Sneaky Gits. Basically, they're 2 goblins with spears, short bows, daggers. They have the animosity, not orcs, as well as runt skills. Right behind them on the right-hand side, there's another 3 more night goblins in purple. Those guys are called the Ludas. Those are 3 goblins armed with spears, short bows, and shield. They got the animosity, not orcs, as well as runt special rules. And then right behind them on the left-hand side, that is Papa Shango. He's the orc boss, the leader of this warband. He's equipped with light armor, shield, dagger, sword, bow. He's got the leader as well as the cunning plan skill. And right next on the right-hand side is Baron Zamidi. He's an orc shaman with a knife, bow, as well as a wizard special rule. He's got Clubba, Fire of Gork, as well as Zap spells. So he's packing up quite a bit of magic for this one. And that pretty much makes up Brother Grimm's left-hand deployment. On his right hand side, starting on the left, we have Burps O Blood. He's an ogre bodyguard. He's armed with great weapon, light armor. He's got the fear as well as large target special rule. Right in front of him are 3 cave squigs called the Mangalas. They got gobs full of teeth. They got the random movement, minders, nut orcs, as well as animal special rules. And behind him is the Stabba. He's a goblin warrior armed with a squig prodder. Right next to him on the right hand side, we got 2 members of the orc boys. We got Shagga the war boy. That's the guy on the far right there. Shagga the war boy is an orc boy hero. He's got shield, sword. He's also got bow as well as a animosity special rule. And right next to him is the war boy, who is an orc boy henchman. He's got shield, sword, as well as bow. He's also got the animosity special rule. And then finally, right in front of Shagga the war boy is the shrink, the shroomhead, who's a goblin warrior. He's got madcat mushrooms as well as ball and chain. He's also got nervous condition injury. And that pretty much makes up the deployment for the Peeple Eataz. Alright, across the battlefield we have the deployment for the Scions of the Sylph. In the back, that is Otto the Eremite. He's the Magister, who's also the leader of this warband. He's got a sword, short bow, and shield. He's got the leader as well as wizard special rules, and he's packing the Wings of Darkness for his spell. Right in front of him on the left-hand side, that is Krudok the Shadow. He's a Brethren. He's got a sword, knife, as well as a short bow, and right next to him is Konok the Seeker, who's also got a sword, knife, as well as a short bow as well. Right in front of them on the left-hand side, that is Dromos. He is a Dark Soul. He's got an axe, a shield. He's crazed. And right next on the right hand side is Whistlebones. He is a mutant who's got light armor, sword, knife, short bow. He's got the Demon Soul special mutation as well as nervous condition. And then right in front of them, of course, is the Homunculus. He is a possessed with great claw mutation. He's got the fear as well as mighty blow skills. And finally, on the right hand side is the rest of the warband. Starting off from the back and left hand side, that is Squee. He has a Dark Soul who's armed with an axe, a shield. He's also got this craze rule. Right next on the right hand side is Quivering Sin. He's another mutant with light armor, sword, knife, short bow, as well as a Demon Soul mutation. Up in the front there we have, I believe that is Zadok Onyxbane is the guy on the left hand side. He's a Brethren who's got a sword, knife, as well as a short bow. And then we have Nagas Goreweaver on the right hand side, who's another Brethren armed with sword, knife, as well as a short bow. And then right in front of them, of course, is Caliban the Horror. He's a possessed. He's got great claw mutation as well as fear. And that pretty much makes up the deployment for the Scions of Sylph. So with deployment over with, my friends will roll off for initiative to see which of them will be going first. So we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and the Cult of the Possessed managed to get the initiative on this one, so Odeth will be going first. And as you can see in this photo, he just kind of, this is an overhead shot of the moving phase, he just kind of sent his forces, moving as quick as they possibly can. Pretty much he just runs everyone down the left as well as right hand central axis, heading directly towards the tower. Not much planning involved, just trying to get to the building as quickly as possible. And that pretty much makes his move phase for this one. So here's a close-up of his right-hand advancement. If I remember correctly, he did only move up Zakuk, Onyxbane, as well as Nagas Goreweaver. I think he only moved them up their normal moon allowance so that way they could open fire with their bows, but unfortunately for them, though, they're out of range, so they won't be able to do that, while everybody else just kind of ran forward. And here's a close-up of his left-hand advancement. As you can see, everybody just ran up forward. They're moving up their double movement allowance, heading directly towards the tower at the center. And that pretty much makes up his phase. There's no shooting because everything's out of range, and there's no close combat, so we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Orcs and Goblins. Alright, so that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Mob Roolz, and this photo is taken after the move phase. We skip recovery phase because there's no point at this time, and so because of that, as you can see here, my buddy Brother Grim does exactly the same thing that my other friend Odeth did. He just advances as quick as he can with his forces down the pikeway. So the first thing he does, he runs up Snagga the Zappa as well as Ugla the Blade. He runs those guys up to the left-hand side, climb that ladder, so that way they're on the top of the aqueduct there, so that way they have good overwatch positions to open fire with their bows. At the same time, the Ludas, them Sneaky Gits, as well as Papa Shango and Bears Media, they just run up their normal moon allowance, moving twice as much as quick as they possibly can between the Black Roof building in the center, as well as the Smith's Workshop on the left-hand side. At the same time, he also runs up Burps O Blood, who goes tearing across from the deployment zone directly to the center tower, so he is currently occupying it, so the Peeple Eataz currently have the building. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, the Mangalas, as well as Stabba, as well as the Shroomhead, as well as the War Boys move up as quick as they can up the right-hand side to take out cover positions. And that pretty much makes up his move phase for this one. So here's a close-up of Ugla the Blade as well as Zappa the Snappa running along the top of the aqueducts to get good overwatching positions down upon their opponents. And here's a close-up of Papa Shango, Baron Zamidi, as well as the Sneaky Gits, as well as the Ludas, moving as quick as they can along the left-hand axis to the center building. And finally, there's a close-up of Burps of Blood securing the central tower, followed by the Manglas as well as Stabba. You can see the Shroomhead as well as Snagga the Warboy, as well as the Warboy making their way to the right-hand side as well. And since everybody pretty much ran, there is no shooting and there's no close combat, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Cult of the Possessed. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Cult of the Possessed, and as you can see in this photo, quite a bit of dramatic movement took place. We skip recovery, of course, because there's no point at this time, and my buddy O'Death just starts charging in. The first thing he does, he declares a charge with the Homunculus, which is the blue Possessed over the right-hand side. He goes tearing across the cobblestones directly into Burps of Blood and engages that guy into close combat as well. At the same time, he also runs up his left-hand advancement as well, sending down his forces down that straightaway, and does exactly the same thing with the right hand as well. Trying to catch up as quick as they can in order to get that central building occupied as well. And that pretty much makes my friend's movement phase for this part. So here's a close-up of the movement phase in the center of the battlefield. As you can see, Caliban the Horror of the Waste on the left-hand side is moving around the building, while the Homunculus is currently engaged with Burps of Blood. And at the same time, you can see here on the left-hand side of the battlefield as well, you can see that the rest of the fire team has moved up as quick as they can, right, and trying to catch up with the left-hand assault. Meanwhile, pretty much the same thing is happening over here on the right-hand side as well. The only difference, though, is that Squee, which is the Dark Soul who's up there in the front, he runs forward. Meanwhile, Quivering Sin, as well as Naga's Goreweaver and Zakuk Onyx Bane, they just kind of move up their normal wound allowance of 4 inches because they plan on opening fire with their short bows in the next turn. And finally, here's a close-up of Otto the Eremite flying, running over to the ruins there outside the central building as well. So with the movement phase over with, you go directly to the shooting phase. And the shooting phase, I believe it was Naga's Goreweaver who managed to get the shot off directly onto the yellow cave squig from the Manglas. If I remember correctly, he got a critical shot on that one, putting 2 wounds on him and putting that guy directly out of action. However, as bad as that might be, though, there's no harm, no foul, because the yellow cave squig makes a full recovery at the end phase. So with that, we go directly to the combat phase, and as you can see in this photo, the Homunculus had no problem just absolutely destroying Burps of Blood. And the reason why that was the case is because the Homunculus has 2 things going for him. First of all, he's got a great claw mutation, so that makes him strength 5 base whenever he's in close combat as well. Not to mention, he's also got the Mighty Blow ability, which gives him an additional +1 strength in close combat, making him strength 6. So the only way he doesn't wound Burps of Blood is by only rolling ones. Needless to say, he hit him twice, wounded him twice as well, but the thing that finished him off, though, was the second wound. For that one, my friend O'Death rolled a perfect 6 on that one, making a critical injury. And so because of that, what ends up happening is that he rolled another 6 on top of that. So because of that, he gets +2 to his damage. He also has no armor saves for Burps of Blood. At the same time, he also adds 2 to the injury roll as well. Ate up all 3 of that poor guy's wounds, and when he rolled for the injury, rolled up for robbed on that part. So because he loses his great weapon, as well as his light armor, he goes directly to the Scions of Sylph. And to make matters worse, the Homunculus, of course, follows through and goes directly into Pinky, which is the cave squig right there from the Manglas as well. And that pretty much makes it the turn for the Scions of Sylph. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Orcs and Goblins. Alright, so that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Mob Roolz, and this photo is taken after the movement phase, and as you can see, my buddy Brother Grimm does some dramatic movement. First of all, he sends in Stabba, as well as a Shroomhead, as well as the 2 cave squigs from the Manglas. They go charging directly into the Homunculus, engaging him in close combat. At the same time, the Warboy, as well as Shagga the Warboy, they both move up for overwatching positions, that way they can open fire with their bows. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, you can see that Ooga the Blade as well as Zappa the Snappa just moved up their normal wound allowance along the top of the aqueducts, that way they can get some shoutouts with their bows. At the same time, the Mlutas, as well as the Sneaky Gits, as well as Papa Shango, as well as Baron Zamidi, they just move up kind of tentatively forward, just under their movement allowance. They just get within range, that way they can open fire on Caliban the Horror of the Wastes. Got kind of like this semicircle shooting going on there. And that pretty much makes the movement phase for the Peeple Eataz. So as you can see here is a close-up of Stabba, as well as the Shroomhead, as well as Pinky and Bluey charging directly into the Homunculus, and you can see that the 2 orcs over there are on overwatch positions to open fire with their bows. And here's a close-up of the Sneaky Gits, as well as the Lutas, as well as Papa Shango and Baron Samedi getting ready to open fire with their bows directly into Caliban the Horror. And finally, there's a close-up of Oogle the Blade, as well as Zappa the Snappa getting into overwatch positions as well. So with the movement phase over with, you go directly to the shooting phase. And the shooting phase, you can see in this photo, basically all kinds of destruction that are happening. First of all, my brother Grim decides to concentrate fire with his goblins directly into Caliban the Whore of the Waste, managed putting a wound off of him. However, the real killer though was the Zap spell, which basically opened fire from Baron Zamini, put that guy out of action with a full recovery result as well. At the same time, Zappa the Snappa as well as Uga the Blade managed to put both their shots directly into Dromos, so they put that guy out of action as well, and he makes a full recovery too. So with the shooting phase over, they go directly to the combat phase. And in the combat phase, you've seen this photo, the homunculus does go down with an out of action result, but he makes a full recovery, so no harm, no foul. I believe it was Pink who managed to put a wound on him, and I believe it was the Shroomhead that finished him off. So because of that, he goes crashing face down, and he goes out and basically goes out of action as well. And that pretty much makes up the turn for the Peeple Eataz on this one. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of the turn for the Cult of the Possessed. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 3 for the Cult of the Possessed, and in the recovery phase, my buddy O'Death has to take a break test to see if his team routes, and as you can see in this photo, unfortunately, he failed his route test. I believe he rolled an 11 on that part, so because of that, the Eremite, as well as the rest of the Scions of Sylph, decided to retreat and to fight for another day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us directly to the end of the game, but the Mob Roolz managed to get the win on this one. So another victory for the Peeple Eataz. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post game because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so starting with the Cult of the Possessed. For the injuries, they suffered 3 injuries in this battle report: Caliban the Whore, the Homunculus, as well as Dromos, and all 3 of those fighters made full recovery. For advancements, quite a few members of this warband did advance. Whistlebone as well as Quivering Sin, the 2 mutants, they actually leveled up as well. Whistlebone's got +1 to his wounds, so now he's got 2 wounds now, and Quivering Sin got +1 to his ballistic skill. Meanwhile, the brethren henchmen of Krudok the Shadow, Konok the Seeker, Zakuk, Onyx Bane, as well as Nagas Goreweaver, those guys got leveled up as well, and they got +1 to their ballistic skill. So now these guys are strength 4 in close combat and have a 4 ballistic skill with their bows. So these guys are slowly becoming super deadly. At the same time, Dromos and Squee, both those guys for the Dark Souls, also leveled up as well, and they got +1 to their strength. So now these guys are strength 5 in close combat. Makes them extremely deadly as well. During the exploration phase, they managed to discover 3 weird stone shards and managed to discover a shop at the same time, earning 5 gold pieces from it. From the trading post, they got a total of 65 gold pieces in total. With those 65 gold pieces, they hired a Beastman Gore named the Destroyer, and they equipped that guy with shield, helmet, and they also equipped him with the light armor as well as great weapon that they stole from Burp's Old Blood. So now that guy is kit out to kill as well. They then took their 2 remaining gold pieces and placed it directly into their treasury. Their new record now is at 1 win as well as 4 losses, and the new warband rating now is at 162 points. So from there we go directly to the Peeple Eataz. For their injuries, they suffered 2 injuries in this battle report. The Manglam, which is one of the cave squigs, makes a full recovery, and Burp's Blood got robbed and he lost his great weapon as well as his light armor. For his advancements, 3 members of this warband did advance. Papa Shango got +1 to his leadership, so now he's leadership 9, which is really good. At the same time, Shagga the Warboy also leveled up, earning +1 to his strength, so now he's strength 4. At the same time, the Sneaky Gets also leveled up as well, so those 2 goblins have now +1 attack. Makes them a little bit deadlier in close combat. During the exploration phase, they discovered 4 shards of Weirdstone, and at the same time, they also rolled 4 5s and discovered a merchant's house, and inside of it, they found 60 gold pieces, which is really important for them. So, in the end, they managed to get 55 gold pieces as well as 75 gold pieces from their treasury. They dismissed Burp's Blood from service since my friend didn't want to spend money to equip him again, and instead, they recruited a troll named the Rekka. So now the Rekka is now within their warband, so they have a troll now. Their new record now is at 3 wins as well as 2 losses, and the new warband rating is at 223 points. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.